All right, so this is a suggestion via a donation. The name of the video is why it's more expensive to be poor. Okay, let's check it out. This is coming from PBS, guys. Let's get it.
Most people are not super wealthy, but we all have an idea of what it might be like to be a wealthy person. We watch them on TV, we follow them on Instagram,
Wealthy is also very subjective, guys.
we read their blogs and autobiographies. Unfortunately, that awareness of how the other half lives doesn't happen much in the other direction.
Right.
Though many of us have probably described ourselves as broke or poor at one point or another, very few have an understanding of what real poverty feels like.
I mean, listen, guys, if you're in the United States of America, I don't think any of us would really know what, like, abject poverty actually means. Like, you can say that I grew up a very specific way, and I think I know what it looks like, but guys, there are people in other countries who make probably, like, you know, maybe less than $100 a month, guys. I understand, you know, oh God, guys, that's abject poverty, guys. I think about it. The average, what was the stat? If you make $32,000 a year, right, you're in the top 1%, basically. You're in the 1% of like income earners on the planet, guys, right? While the median income in America is like, what, 50-something, 52,000 or so, guys? Yeah. If the average is making that, we don't really know what poverty feels like or looks like compared to other places.
And it's not just a matter of having less money. Once you get below a certain threshold, a whole new set of rules apply that actually make day-to-day life more expensive.
Okay.
If you've never struggled with real poverty, you might not be aware of the many hidden costs and financial traps that conspire to keep poor people poor.
Predatory lenders, guys, pawn shops, let's see, companies that set up shop in your neighborhood but refuse to actually hire the people from the neighborhood. That could probably also be terrible, right? There are a lot of things, guys. Those payday loan lenders, the title loan lenders, guys. Yeah, bro. Like, you already financed a vehicle, all right? You already paid all the, you fell into the financing trap. You did that, right? Then just to finally pay it off, then to loan it to a loan shark? Yeah, that's, oh my God. That's crazy.
It's very hard to make your way through modern life without access to basic financial services like checking accounts, ATMs, and personal checks. But the less money you have, the more these things will cost you. That's because banks make their profits by accruing interest on your money. So if your account balance is too low, usually under $1,500, they won't consider you a profitable client anymore, and they'll make you pay for their basic services in the form of a monthly fee.
Yeah, like certain banks have it. I think they, who was it? Wells Fargo has like a $500 thing. So like if you ever, so if you don't leave like $500 in your checking or whatever it is, they charge you a monthly fee. $1,500 would probably be Navy Federal. They have something like that. Bank of America has one of their special accounts, whatever it is, guys. They have a $20,000 limit. You want to always keep $20,000 in there, guys. But yeah, this is, I never even thought about it like as deeply as this, but yeah, this is definitely wealth deletion.
And heaven help you if you go below zero. Each overdraft incurs a charge of about $35, and many banks will deliberately reorder your transactions for the day, from biggest to smallest, to drive you into the red more quickly and rack up as many overdraft fees as possible.
If a bank is willing...
Oh, God, guys, that's terrible. Oh, my. I would say that if your credit is decent, right, you could probably set up like a checking, what's it called, a checking line of credit, right? So if you do go below, they'll just cover it, and then it's just basically like a credit card type of thing, but coming out of your checking account.
To extend you credit at all, the terms will be much less favorable than for someone with a rosier financial history. You'll pay more money in interest every month, and any late payments means more penalties and fees.
Even cash can be more expensive if you don't have much of it. If you withdraw $100 from an out-of-network ATM, that $3 fee equates to a 3% service charge. But if you can only afford to take out $20 at a time, you're essentially paying a 15% charge to access your own money.
Taken together, this means that a poor person might end up paying hundreds or thousands of dollars a year for services that wealthier people virtually enjoy for free. It's no wonder then that a lot of low-income people avoid banks altogether. But even that comes at a steep price. Cashing a paycheck without a bank account costs money. Buying a money order to pay your electric bill costs money. And if that bill is due in just a couple days, well, you can either get hit with a late fee or FedEx it, an extra expense that someone with a debit card and an internet connection never has to worry about.
If you think that dealing with credit card debt is bad, thank your lucky stars you've never dealt with a payday or car title lender.
Right. This is what I'm talking about right here, guys. These are like the most predatory things in like areas you can imagine. And they seem to set up shop in places where people kind of need the most money. I understand the business behind it. I'm sure it's a great business for those who own it, right? But, oh man, it's wealth extraction, right? Like what little someone does have, it just gets thrown away, bro. But are they doing a service? Are they helping the area out by at least being able to handle these loans to maybe people with low credit, guys? I can see the good and the bad, but I think it's more bad, but not really, because, oh God, guys, it's good, but it's bad, right? It's bad.
These businesses are often the only recourse for people without credit cards, and their interest rates reach upwards of 800% annually.
806% annual? Oh, that should be illegal, bro.
Not only
that should be illegal, but I get it. They're the ones taking the risk with loaning the money to someone who doesn't have any credit.
Borrow and spend.
I get that, but
what you spend it on is often more expensive. If you have to feed a family on a tight budget, buying in bulk at a supermarket is usually the best option, but not one available to many poor people. Even if they had the cash on hand to buy weeks worth of food in one trip, how is someone who depends on public transportation supposed to get it home? On their lap on the bus?
Right.
Big food retailers, ones with enough purchasing power to offer low prices.
I'll let you know right now, if you live in an underserved area, right, and you hear that a Trader Joe's is about to move in, right, or Whole Foods, mainly Trader Joe's. I think Trader Joe's is one of these places that that instantly raise the income of like everything around it, guys. Right, house values go up, or they're probably already high. I mean, they generally look for areas that are kind of performing. They look for education levels also. It's extremely strategic with what Trader Joe's specifically does. So if you live in an area where there is one of these places, you're probably well off, most likely, guys. Right.
Are notorious for avoiding poor neighborhoods, and people who live in these so-called food deserts often lack the mobility to cruise around town bargain hunting. Instead, they're stuck with local convenience and corner stores whose prices are much higher.
Way higher.
Or they rely on fast food, which can seem cheap in comparison, but is actually more expensive than cooking at home, to say nothing of the long-term health risks.
Right.
Rent can also be more expensive. Most landlords require a security deposit between $500 and $1,000 to move in, an impossible sum for people barely scraping by. And in that case, your only option other than homelessness might be a low-end extended stay motel, which typically don't require deposits, but cost way more than an apartment in the long run. And they often lack amenities like kitchen appliances and laundry that save apartment dwellers time and money.
They say time is money, and the less money you have, the more time you have to spend on everyday tasks. Waiting at the bus stop, waiting at the laundromat, waiting at overcrowded clinics and public offices. This leaves much less free time to take care of one's family, pick up extra work, or strategize a way out of poverty.
It gets worse.
Yeah, it feels like, guys, this is a trap, right? Capitalism is an interesting thing, right? It has caused a lot of the ills in people's lives for almost the exclusive benefit of like a very small minority of people who are kind of reaping the benefits, right? you know, I mean, it tells the whole world that you have the ability to kind of climb out of whatever situation you're in. I do hope that for every single person, bro, right? But it would be nice if we didn't have to just like spend our whole lives working just to die, right? That would be really amazing. I mean, obviously, you know, I wouldn't say that, let me rephrase this, guys, baby. It would be nice if we didn't have to like work for our entire lives and then have nothing when we stop working. That'd be a good thing, right? And not be able to like live your life, because by the time you're able to like retire and like stop working, all you want to do is lay down and sleep, bro. It's not really beneficial to like life long term. It isn't, guys. Like, I mean, it's, again, only really helping and benefiting like a very small subsection of humanity.
Inflation, the general increase in prices, tends to hit things like food, gas, and rent the hardest. The lower your income, the greater percentage of it goes to these costs. So a poor person will see their year-over-year expenses go up at a higher rate than a wealthy person.
Right.
All these pressures take a toll on one's psyche that only makes things worse. Imagine having to constantly make tough decisions about where to spend your last few dollars. Pay the water bill or buy food for dinner. Put gas in the car or see the doctor. This relentless burning of mental energy leads to a deterioration in the quality of one's judgment, a phenomenon psychologists call decision fatigue. It's why someone might visit a payday lender when they know it's a bad idea.
Right.
They're so exhausted that they'll settle for a quick fix.
And that's why they exist, guys, right? That's why they exist. That's why they don't run out of business. Why would they? Like, how can they run out of? How could these places go out of business, bro? Right? It feels like a lot of this is like structured to be this exact way. And it's kind of, it's no, not kind of. It's extremely saddening.
Even if it will lead to more problems down the road.
Closely related to decision fatigue is the scarcity trap, which is our tendency to fixate on the resources that we have the least of, to the
Right.
point that we lose sight of the big picture. Running low on diapers, for instance, can create a feeling of panic that compels a poor mother to buy 6 months worth of Huggies, only to realize afterwards that she didn't set aside enough money for rent.
Some might think that poor people just need to work harder and spend smarter.
No, bro. It's a lot of it. A lot of it feels like a trap. It just feels like a trap. It's the repercussions of like this rugged capitalism that we've had for a while now, guys. That's really what this is. Do I think that people should just have things? Not really. I think you need to do something for that thing, right? But I don't think it needs to probably be at this level, though, guys. Right? I mean, your whole life, you forfeit your entire life.
While it's true that improving your financial situation requires these things, it also
Right.
requires having at least a little bit of extra cash to move around and
Exactly.
access to decent spending options.
If you can't choose where you shop, where you live, or where you bank, you become a captive customer to predatory businesses. If you don't have any extra money to save or invest or budget, you can't make a financial plan. And when are you supposed to think about tomorrow when you're constantly putting out today's fires?
Next time you describe yourself as broke, remember that having just a little bit of wiggle room is infinitely better than having none at all.
Right.
It can make all the difference if you're trying to improve your financial situation.
So, if you do have that wiggle room, be thankful and don't waste it.
And that's our 2 cents. Missing one payment can quickly spiral into a pit of debt. Has this ever happened to you? And were you able to escape it? Share your story in the comments.
All right, guys, listen. Let me tell you a story. All right, so like in the United States of America, I never really had too many like issues like this, right? But moving to Spain was an interesting thing, right? Guys, it was rough for me for I would say for like 6 months until I was able to get my first like little bit of money, right? From photography, right? And you know, when that happened, everything changed. But bro, those months of just like, bro, like lentil soup, basically, my wife and I, right? Like literally just lentil soup. And just like hunger, guys. I get it, guys. And, you know, a lot of people in the comments are like, "Oh, you've been in a position like your entire life to have, like, I don't know, all these things, and bro, everyone has gone through something like this, guys, right? And a lot of people think that I haven't, but I definitely have, bro. Absolutely. I just may not speak about it as much as everyone would like for me to, right? But guys, yeah, listen, my wife and I have been through it. Like, we have been through it, like, for real, guys. Luckily, we never lost, like, the house, the roof over the head, guys, right? But food was a troubling thing, to the point where we had to. I remember one time, like, saving up, basically attempting to save up like €2 to basically go to the corner and get, like, there was like a €2 pizza place, right? And we would share this tiny like €2 pizza, and that would be like the day's thing, right? And that was basically I don't know, guys, just a break from the lentil, guys, lentil soup with, like, no seasoning in it, guys. My wife will like, if I call her, right, she'll be like, oh yeah, I remember the lentil soup. Bro, that was it, guys. I mean, but obviously, abject poverty is different in the States than it is, like, outside, and this is kind of where I kind of come from when I speak about these overall topics, guys, right? And trying not to beg people or ask family members, at least in the United States of America, like, hey, listen, this is what we're going through right now. If you don't mind, if you can, like, loan us a little bit, a couple of dollars or something, right? Trying not to do that, ever do that, really, and just trying to make it on your own, in literally a foreign country, until, like, the money finally comes through from the contract that I had signed, guys, right? So a lot of you guys will know, by trade I am a professional photographer, and unfortunately I moved across the world, not really on a whim, but for a much better opportunity to, like, succeed in life. And then they offered me a really decent pay, but unfortunately that pay was not very close, right? And I basically was able to kind of stretch. Oh God, guys, I made sure I paid the rent for the entire year, and luckily the rent came with the utilities, so we took care of that. There was no problem in a sense, right? And then what was left was maybe like 400 to 500 euros for 6 months of food, right? And that's like, and at that time the euro was super close to the dollar, so it was like yeah, about that, like maybe 380, 390, somewhere in there, dollars, right? And that was for two people for 6 months. So guys, we made it work. I was living in the heart of the city of Malaga, so things were a little more expensive, unfortunately, guys. But again, guys, we made it work, right? But all right, guys, listen, enough with story time, right? This is depressing, right? But yeah, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day, and enjoy your day thoroughly.